is so fun. Okay. Hello. For those of you that are new here, hi, my name is Gabby. On the channel we talk all things bookish, navigating your 20s, and living our best cozy, crafty lives. For those of you that are old here, have you filed your taxes? Have you contributed to your retirement fund? Add that to your to-do list, besties. Hello. As hopefully you can notice, I got a camera. In my previous videos, I was just filming on my phone and just doing the thing. I apologize in advance if I'm like not looking at the lens. I'm looking at the viewfinder. This is a first for me to be able to see myself while I film. But anyway, the purpose of today's video is to give you your official spring break reading list. Now, I know some of you are watching right now and being like,
Gabby, I already went on spring break. Gabby, I'm an adult. I don't have spring break. Gabby, nah.
Spring break is a state of mind. It is a presence of being, and at the end of the day, you're probably going to take a vacation or at least have like a weekend's worth of break where you sit by a body of water, enjoy the sunshine, and wear bright colored clothing. So hello. Welcome to your spring break reading list. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first book that should be on your spring break reading list is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I just finished reading this book a few days ago and I am obsessed. Not only does it take place on a coastal home in Maine, which is like everybody's Nancy Meyers spring break coastal vacation dream house, but it also has like the cutest, sweetest romance. And Emily Henry is the queen of banter. I've read some of her other books and the banter was good, but the banter in Happy Place is exceptional. And not only does it feature, like I said, the cutest, sweetest romance, but it also has amazing female friendships, which I think a lot of other books attempt but don't do very well, and I think this is like an actual realistic representation of a female friendship where it's a trio. Nobody is left out, but everybody's really different in their own special, cute little ways. Yeah, it was a quick, easy read. I really, it kept me really captivated the entire time. I was like smiling, giggling, kicking my feet, enjoying the plot. So, Happy Place by Emily Henry. Next is Betrayed by Emily Henry. For those of you that are Emily Henry haters, just wait. There are more books on the reading list and they don't involve Emily Henry, so you'll have your turn. For those of you that are new to Emily Henry or are obsessed with her like I am, need I say more? Can you see all my tabs? Half of these are just tabs for banter, and banter that I'm obsessed with. And I just, like I said, Emily Henry's the queen of banter, and it doesn't get better than this. It obviously takes place at the beach, so hello, spring break. It is kind of enemies to lovers, but more like misunderstood personalities to lovers. They're both authors, so it's bookish, which is really cute. But it's also about like forgiveness and finding yourself and trying new things and just being open to what life has to offer, which is always really sweet. Same as Happy Place, it's just a very quick, a very easy read. I think for spring break, we're really just trying to like be happy. This is only, let's see, 300-ish pages, 358 pages, so a good quick read. Next is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. When I first read this, and if you've seen my other videos where I said I didn't really like this book, I believe I gave it like a 3 on Good Stars, I was wrong. I read this immediately after reading another book with a very similar plotline, and so I didn't like it as much because I thought it was too similar to what I had literally just read. But looking back on it, this was actually the first book I thought of when I thought of the spring break reading list because it just screams summer to me. It is a second chance romance. It is childhood friends to lovers. It is going through loss and figuring out who you want to be as a person and trying new things and just understanding a relationship with somebody as it changes over time, especially if it goes from friendship to relationship to friendship. And it's also dual timelines. So not only do you get to see their relationship as adults, but you also get to see their relationship as children. It also takes place on a lake, so clearly there's a theme of books with, what is it called? Settings books with settings that occur next to bodies of water, because what should you be doing during spring break? Laying next to a body of water and reading books. Thank you. I agree. The next two I don't have physical copies of because I borrowed them from the library, but the next, oh my God, guys, I keep looking down because I have my notes on my phone. I've never been able to do this before. I've literally just had to memorize everything I wanted to say for the whole video. This is so exciting. But the next one is In a New York Minute by Kate Spencer. This is the first book I read this year and I absolutely loved it. It was really quick, really fast paced. Essentially our FMC like hits rock bottom in life and has a super cute meet cute with this guy, but not only does it go into like their relationship, and the MMC I think is a really amazing and realistic representation of what like introversion and anxiety looks like, which is refreshing to read. And it was also a good representation of anxiety in a way that didn't give me anxiety. Sometimes the authors are so good at writing anxiety that it makes me anxious. But yeah, like I said, they have a really cute little meet cute that occurs, and the FMC not only is like involved in this relationship, but she's also trying to like rebuild her relationship with herself, decide what she wants to do moving forward, like the courage and the determination that it takes to pursue your passion and essentially do something really risky for a really high reward in terms of like putting your old life aside and really trying for something that you actually genuinely want with your whole heart. And she's also going through like rediscovering herself, and that's something that I really resonated with as a girl in my 20s, just trying to figure out what I want the next step of my life to be. And it really, Kate Spencer really goes through like the mental process of that. It doesn't just kind of show like, oh, this happened and that happened and then I made this choice. It really kind of goes through the character's internal monologue of like processing these decisions and making these choices and everything like that. So I really appreciated that. One thing I will say is that this does mention like modern day life and like Instagram. So if you're not into that, I think you probably won't like the beginning of the book, because essentially like their meet cute happens and it goes viral on Instagram. But I will say that it wasn't so much that it like intruded on my reading bubble where I was like, this is unrealistic, or I hate this, it's too similar to like everyday life, because I don't really like when books mention modern technology or like social media or anything like that. But it didn't bother me in this book. So if that's a concern that you have, I really wouldn't be too concerned about it for this book, and I really, really enjoyed it. It also took a twist at the end that I wasn't expecting, so that's always refreshing, because I feel like especially with these cute, quick, easy romance reads, they tend to follow the same cadence and the same like predictable plot line. But this one threw me for a loop for a second, and I really appreciated that. So, In a New York Minute by Kate Spencer, and then finally The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I loved this book. I read this book during a 24-hour readathon, and it is the only book I actually like remember reading. It's the only one that resonated with me. It was so good. So essentially, The Bodyguard is actually the FMC, and then the person who's being protected, bodyguarded, question mark, is the MMC. So the MMC is essentially a celebrity, and he has received a few like death threats, stalking issues, things like that. But he's had a family emergency and wants to go back to his family's like rural farm town. Obviously, you can't just disappear into rural farm life as somebody who has like a death threat pending. So the FMC is hired to be his protection. He doesn't want his family to know or be concerned about the fact that he requires protection, so it's fake dating. And I rarely read fake dating because it's usually like cheesy, unbelievable, and like just kind of icks me out. But in this case, fake dating was done so well. Catherine Center has a really just honestly amazing writing style. It's kind of borders on like what you would read in a YA, where everything is just like really fast paced, the plot is always moving, the characters have a lot of character development, and the side characters are also worth reading, not just vehicles to move the plot along through. This book put me through an emotional roller coaster once I got like 3/4 of the way in, and I've never had a book make me feel that way as intensely as I did. So all that to say, Catherine Center is a fantastic writing is a fantastic writer. If you are somebody who is into books that have little to absolutely no spice, Catherine Tenter is your author. I definitely want to read more books by her, but The Bodyguard was an amazing introduction to her writing style, and I really, really, really loved it. And that completes what y'all should be reading on your spring break reading list. I recognize that these are majority romances, but like I said before, spring break is the time to be next to a body of water, smiling, giggling, kicking your feet, laughing, having a great time, reading something easy. It's like essentially like reading spring break is rom-com time. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, the books are happy, the books have happy endings, they just are just a pleasant read. You just want something easy, relaxing, that you know is going to end up happy and fantastic and like makes you feel things but not negative things. Like, I don't know. Spring break is just the time for rom-coms. But I only recommended 5 because at the end of the day, spring break is maximum a week, and if you're going on a regular schmegular vacation, probably less than that. So just a few reads that you can bring with you on vacation that are going to be a guaranteed good time. Now we're going to move into what I'm going to be reading on spring break. As you all know, I work a 9 to 5, so I don't actually have a spring break. However, as of today, I have officially scheduled a vacation. So this is what I am going to be bringing on my spring break vacation. First off, I officially started the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I had read Assassin's Blade. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that I read Assassin's Blade a few weeks ago, just to see if I liked the main character for Throne of Glass, and to give me a little bit of context for the series. I had heard that it's best to read Assassin's Blade first, because technically it's a prequel to the series, even though it came out a few years after Throne of Glass was published. So I'm reading Throne of Glass. I'm hoping that by the time my vacation comes around, it's the second week of April-ish. It's like mid-April, so I'm hoping that by then I can be at least on the second or third book of the Throne of Glass series. Then I have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. As y'all saw, I've read Happy Place Beach Read. I've also read People We Met on Vacation. So Book Lovers is kind of like the final what are these things called from the Marvel Universe? The Infinity Stone. Like, Pokemon Collect 'em All. That's like the only one I have left to read before Funny Story comes out, which I think comes out in May? Either the end of April or May. But Funny Story comes out then, so I want to have read all of her books before then. Then I have Red String Theory by Lauren Kung Jessen. I apologize if I mispronounced that. I've never heard of this author before, but I had gotten this recommended on my Goodreads. And essentially it's about like the red string theory, and so the FMC believes in the red string theory, the MMC doesn't. And I guess it goes through their conversation. I guess they go on a date or something, it doesn't really work out, but they keep getting like pulled together. And I am obsessed with the concept of the red string theory. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's essentially saying it's this theory that you and your soulmate are connected by an invisible string, i.e. Invisible String by Taylor Swift. But you're connected by an invisible red string, and all of your life is just the shortening of that string until you finally meet each other and fall in love and are together forever. So I love the red string theory, and I'm really excited to read about that. It also takes place in New York, and I love reading books that are set in New York for some reason, so red string theory. Then I've heard a lot of great things about Lynn Painter, so I wanted to dive into her books. I believe I'm going to start with The Do-Over. That book is, I believe, YA romance, and I think Lynn Painter only has one adult romance, but what I've heard is that her YA romances are really like where she shines and what she's known for, so I wanted to start with one of those before diving into her adult romance book. So I think I'm going to start with The Do-Over, and that one is essentially about this girl who lives Valentine's Day over and over and over again. And if you have watched any other videos of mine, you know that I am wow, hello, hey, okay. If you have watched any of my other videos, you know that I am obsessed with time travel romance or like time-related fiction. So obviously I have to read a book where she lives the same day over and over and over again, and I assume she's going to fall in love with a man every single day. Like, hello, that's literally my dream. No, not my dream, but my dream book. So I'm going to read The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, and then I'm also wanting to read Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Now I'm aware that this is a classic and it's a very long book. I read this book when I was in like middle school, and I remember loving it. I read Little Women, and I also read Joe's Boys, which is about Joe's life essentially after the Little Women book, she runs, I want to say, a school for orphaned boys. I don't recall. One of you in my other videos commented and gave me the whole, there's like 3 or 4 books in the series, and you gave me all the information I needed to know, and I forgot, and I'm sorry. But I love you, and I thank you for leaving that comment. So I want to reread Little Women because I remember liking it. I also just rewatched the Greta Gerwig movie adaptation of Little Women, and it's fantastic. And so it made me want to get back into it and read it again. But those are the books I'm going to be reading on my spring break vacation. And that's all I have for y'all today. If you have any recommendations, I clearly am looking for romances that are quick, easy, good plot line, believable characters, and don't mention the internet too much. So yeah, if you have any recommendations, let me know in the comments down below. If you've watched all the way to this point in this video, love you. Second of all, comment the I'll leave it here. Comment it down below so I know you're a true bloomer. Bloomies? Did we decide what I'm calling you guys? I still can't decide yet. Nothing sounds good enough to me. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye. Bye. Guys, having a camera makes me so happy. I literally am like, what is it? Like the orbit smile where it's like ding. That's me. What was I saying? Oh, that's it.